Many people have come to be familiar with adverse childhood experiences. There's been lots of research on that in the last, 25 years or so, but not so many people, including helping professionals, are familiar with ways of transforming the difficulties that result from ACE. Um, there are quantum methods, there are methods from ancient India and Tibet and so forth that are very powerful to help clear those issues. This video is about that. So, if you're interested, I'll be talking a little bit about what adverse childhood experiences is, the various factors and so forth that you may be very familiar with. Some of you may not be, so I need to put that on the table, and then I'll talk about and take you through some transformational exercises to help to heal some of that. Okay, so you should know who I am. I've been in the helping field for a little while now, for 49 years. My background is after my master's degree, 5 years of intensive training in couple and family therapy, became certified as an expert in the field, trained psychologists and social workers and so on. And my specialty has been working with uh, major difficulties. So one example of that is I worked as a family therapist in child protection with child protection related clients for 10 years. So working with issues related to abuse and neglect and so on, running away kids and all the rest of it. So I'm going to be talking with you now about some of the factors that are involved in this. Um, so give me, um, geez, I can't find the information. There. So obviously, Marina, you cut and then and then you splice together. So research over the past 25 years or so shows us very clearly that the more types of difficulties we went through in childhood, up to the age of 18, the greater the impact on us. So, for example, more likelihood of depressions, substance abuse, and so forth as a way of coping and etc. So very powerful impact on us. More and more so, the more types of difficulties, and it's more difficulty in get rising above that. So, and I'll talk about that from the spiritual perspective in terms of how do you relate this to personal transformation anyway, right? Okay, so first we talk about the various types of difficulties. So as I talk about that with you over the next, I don't know, 2 minutes, you count how many of these issues that you've gone through. So I'll talk about abuse, household dysfunction, they call it, and neglect. So, so emotional difficulties, so recurrent threats and humiliation. So if that's a one, for example, for you or not. The physical issues like beating, not spanking, contact sexual abuse. So that's three different things. Household dysfunction, so the mother treated violently. Household member was alcoholic or a drug user. Household member was imprisoned. Household member was chronically depressed, suicidal, mentally ill, or in psychiatric hospital, and not raised by both biological parents. So then there's neglect, physical neglect or emotional neglect. So you consider now how many of these you've gone through. So if you've gone through 4 or 5 or more of these, there's a greater likelihood that you suffer from sizable issues. as a, simply as a result of having gone through that stuff. It's not a question of you're bad or whatever. We tend to forget and we don't relate it, and a lot of helpers don't relate the difficulties we experience to our past. So we say, obviously, there's something wrong with me. Obviously, there's something wrong with the world. Everything sucks. Or I don't trust the divine. I never get any good stuff or whatever. So, but the issue is that each of these types of difficulties have a particular energy. So there's a particular type of denseness relating to physical abuse, for example, in terms of the toxic energy that your parents carried, for example, and you inhale it, you pick it up, or having been abused or neglected, you're sitting alone in a corner. It's your energy. It affects you at the cellular level DNA. It affects you in terms in terms of various other things too. So, for example, uh, at the soul level, uh, we resonate with past life issues that we experience. So if we feel like a loser and a bum, it's not just a question of needing to clear in relation to what my dad did to me when I was 7. It's a question of let's look more broadly at the various aspects and why we chose to incarnate into that, and let's clear all those various issues. It's a multidimensional transformation, and this is what we do. Okay, so some of the symptoms relating to this are really impactful, and that people have major difficulty resolving because the approach that they tend to work with, the various helping professionals, is not enough. Speaking for me, I went through a number of these difficulties, and so I worked with over 70 helpers over time, and it didn't help. It just didn't help. Parts of me were self-sabotaging and et cetera, but there were past life issues, and I was connected with collective consciousness, and I was supposed to learn something, so I had to stay in the soup, the divine orchestrated things. So I stay in the soup for a while, so I learn more deeply and try different things and so on, right? So there's some things that I say that won't fit for you, that you won't believe, and that's okay. You let those go, and you look more broadly at what fits for you in terms of what we're talking about here. Okay, so types of difficulties. So subpersonalities, for example. So your inner critic beats you up all the time. It says you're a loser and you don't cut it and don't try anything, you'll just fail, and so on. There's inner child wounds that we carry. Think of the inner child as being in our lower 3 chakras. And the pain and suffering is in there. So some of it is our own suffering, some of it is ancestral, some of it is past life that we're connected to, some of it is our parents' energy that we inhaled, and the broader communities maybe, and so on. It's more complex than just focusing on 1 or 2 or 3 particular aspects and methods. Otherwise, a lot of you have tried all kinds of things and you haven't gotten anywhere or accomplished, very little. So I encourage you to look more broadly at all the various dimensions, see what's left over. There are ways of assessing that and clearing for them that's very precise. That's part of what we teach. We have a variety of charts and so on, and to help you assess very precisely what the causes are and you clear them. Okay, so I'll talk about some of the symptoms now, so some of you are going to be able to relate more fully. Oh, there's a connection between me feeling like this and my past, my childhood. I get it. And then after that, relating it to past lives and relating it to our mission. We came down, we chose, with the help of our guides, to experience particular things so we could learn and grow and then serve and more broadly serve the world. So emotional types of difficulties, for example, getting upset easily, depression, anxiety, anger. Difficulties at the mental level, For example, difficulty concentrating, dissociation, low self-worth, feeling helpless, seeing oneself as damaged or ineffective, profound shame or guilt, hopelessness, feeling very unsafe. So learned helplessness is a really important part of that, because no matter what I do, no matter what I try, it doesn't work. It takes me nowhere. So relationship level, including not able to trust, poor boundaries, fear of closeness. Of course, we can choose partners who unconsciously who are going to repeat to us some of what we experienced in childhood. Okay, so all of these issues are really important, but it's important to look a little more broadly in terms of also it's traditional Western stuff, but very often they're not related. Some people are very sensitive, so they're more greatly impacted by an issue that other people may not, a less sensitive person may not have been affected in childhood by what you went through, for example. So, and also gender issues. So, for example, males who've been sexually abused are less likely to report that they went through that because of shame and etc. Males are more likely to act out, like boys, for example, and so therefore they're seen as you're the problem rather than you complaining about you feel bad or you have anxiety or depression or whatever, and people look after you if you verbalize. More likely to be females, and males more likely to act out. But very sensitive males are more likely to be open, but they won't necessarily be listened to, right? So their concerns can be ignored. You're just a sissy, right? For example, people may or may not verbalize that, but so that stuff's really important. All those different things are really important. So you check in and you see what feels right for you. So of the types of difficulties that I mentioned, you consider how many you went through, and you need to give yourself compassion for your suffering, different flavors of suffering, different types of energies that you're connected to, energies of oppression, energies of abandonment, so it's broader energies as well. And it relates it relates to past life issues as well. So if you chose to incarnate in the place where you're neglected or beat up or both this lifetime, it resonates with it brings in the unresolved wounds from your past lives for you to clear as well. Okay, let me see what else I want to tell you before we do some clearing. Yeah, that's all. Okay. So I'd like you to sit in a place where you won't be disturbed. So no driving, no doing dangerous stuff, no skydiving while we're doing this. Okay, so we work with a variety of high beings. So if they don't fit for you, you'll experiment with, okay, so these particular high beings I don't like, but this one I really like. I love Christ, but I don't love any of those other ones, for example. Or I'm really into Krishna, for example, or Kuan Yin. So handle this in a way that feels right for you. But I suggest you experiment, because we've tried all kinds of things in terms of working with various energies to help transmute particular things. So you could say some high beings specialize in helping us to transform particular things. Okay. Let's ask for Lords of Karma, Archangel Michael, to clear your aura, your energy field around you. So you carry a bunch of toxic soup there. Clear the etheric layer of your aura, which is the first layer next to your body. The emotional. Mental. Buddhic. galactic, and so on. Imagine you're clearing away the energy. So your dad's anger or mom's or whatever, is left over in your energy field, and it keeps impacting you. So clear their energies. Energies of people who oppressed you. Could be somebody at school or whatever. Just clear the shame. I'm very, very clever. I'm very quick at discovering things. So this next one took me, I don't know how long, 20, 30 years to figure it out. Tried all kinds of things. Nothing worked. So it's the same with you, right? You try all kinds of things, then we can give up. But as the saying goes, God rewards those who persist. So you keep trying and see what works, and then you do more of that. Clear shame that binds you. First layer of your aura. Imagine that's 2 inches, 5 centimeters around your body. So imagine the color violet flame comes in and burns away the shame that you carry. Stay with that for, I don't know how long, 20 seconds or whatever. A little more. Good. Good. Now let's bring up our subpersonality that gives us trouble. So for example, your inner critic. So imagine your inner critic, part of you that beats you up, whether you need it or not. Imagine it comes up to the light and gets transmuted in the process. I'll wait a little bit for that to happen. There's layers of that. It's complex. It's not just a one time and then it's over forever. It doesn't work like that. But we go more and more and more deeply. As the saying goes, we can only go as high in terms of ascending as we've been low. Transmute those basements more fully. So I think now in terms of your inner child being wounded and gone through some major stuff, and so I'm afraid, I don't trust, I feel unworthy, I'm disgusting, or whatever it might be. So Goddess Kuan Yin is absolutely wonderful to help with that. And Mother Mary is too. So I suggest you work with both of them. Just give it a test drive, even though you may or may not believe in this stuff. Just allow, if you're okay with it. Stay with that for a little bit. The energy to be cleared is in your belly, the lower 3 chakras, so your whole belly. Stay with it. Now, imagine that an angel wraps its wings around you, nurture you and cuddle you, the parts of you that are devastated still. Good, good. Okay, come out of that when you're ready. Check and see how you're doing as compared to a few minutes ago when we started doing the clearing. May not be a fit for you, may be a great fit. You just check in. So the clearing we do, that's an example of some of the stuff we do. We work with a variety of high beings. We focus on things like clearing at the ancestral level, ancestral energies that we carry, ancestral trauma, collective energy that we carry, denseness around us, past life issues, as we mentioned, and so on. So also work with the unmanifest, so going to higher levels of consciousness. It works really great, far better than anything, when we go to a higher level of being. So for example, we go to our heart chakra and we give compassion to our inner child. That works far better than swimming in the soup of low self-esteem for a long time, like I did with a number of helpers, and that stuff just doesn't work. Be in your heart chakra now. Put your left hand on your heart chakra. Go into what's called the higher heart, so a little higher, center of compassion. Give compassion to the parts of you that suffer. Compassion and caring and healing. Okay. Let's come out of that. I will wrap up in a minute. For those of you who want more from us, check below. Be guided to our website. And we have free videos for you that you can choose to check out. If you want to go more deeply into our work, multidimensional transformation is our main transformational series. We teach people over 100 methods of transformation. And we're so confident in our work that we give a money-back guarantee. And the other one is quantum clearing for our inner foundation. It focuses on trauma relating to childhood, including gender issues and being really sensitive and so on. Family of origin stuff. So that one teaches methods, but it's more focused on let's clear particular issues. All right. So thank you so much for spending the time being with me. And now put protection around you before we go. Ask for rose pink energy to protect you. Think of that as Christ energy. Blue dome of protection as well, Archangel Michael. So when you go out, and if you're really sensitive, for example, or you go to the shopping center and you get off base, you put in protection. We have a number of free videos, transformational videos on both our websites, twinflamehealers.com, quantumunion.com. So if you're interested, choose to go there and check it out. Thank you for being with me.